In TurboTenant, we use Leases to organize information in your landlord portal. The lease is how we link a renter to a specific property for a period of time. You can think of the lease as an electronic version of the old-school file folder, and it's where you're going to store important documents, payments, and tenant information. When creating a lease, you'll select the property for the lease to be attached to and assign a nickname to the lease to keep your documents organized. Many landlords choose to use a combination of the property's address and the tenant's name. You also have the option to add in a lease start and lease end date and indicate if the lease is on a month-to-month status or is a fixed term. To view and update the lease information, navigate to Leases from the left dashboard menu and select the specific lease to open up the lease profile. Within the lease profile, you'll find an Edit button toward the top of the page. This will allow you to edit the lease nickname, indicate the rent and security deposit amounts, and choose if you'll allow partial payments and autopay for your tenants on this lease. These settings can be updated at any time, and keep in mind that adding in a rent or security deposit amount doesn't create a charge for the renter, but is instead a way for you to stay organized and have those amounts available at a glance. Here, you also can adjust the lease start and end date, or switch to a month-to-month status with no end date. We'll also give you the option to delete the lease, which is helpful if the tenant never moved in, or end the lease if the tenant has moved out early, or the lease was in month-to-month status with no end date. When your lease end date comes around, we'll automatically convert your lease and tenants into past status. It's also important to know, if you're collecting rent on TurboTenant, charges will no longer be sent to the tenants, but your past tenants will still be able to pay outstanding balances via their tenant portal. If you adjust your lease dates during an active lease period, we'll prompt you to create a lease addendum for your tenants to sign and agree to, and ensure all your paperwork is up to date and accurate. The lease addendum modifies the terms of an existing lease agreement and is a great way to make changes to things like the dates and rates. In the lease profile, you'll see which tenants are linked to that lease. You can click on Add to assign more tenants to the lease profile, and can either choose renters that are in your applicant's queue, or you can manually add a tenant with their name and email address. You can also remove a tenant from the lease profile using the trash can icon. From within the lease profile, you have the ability to view tenant, to pull up the tenant profile, which is where you'll find their application and screening report, messages and activity log, as well as the renter's insurance information and emergency contact. When you have the renter's insurance requirement turned on, we'll prompt the renter to upload their renter's insurance policy within their tenant profile, and we'll even give them the option to purchase renter's insurance directly through our partner, Sure. When the renter purchases through Sure, the policy will automatically upload to both your portal and the tenant's portal once finalized. It can take 3 to 5 business days for the policy to be finalized after the tenant signs up with Sure. As the landlord, you can also upload the renter's insurance policy on your side within the tenant's profile. You can also pull up the tenant's profile by using the Tenants tab on the left dashboard menu.